This is Steve Curtis, Customer Experience Lead for Columbus Global. With me today is Stephen Fox and Craig Hamer. This webinar is an overview of the latest of Dynamics 365. Microsoft themselves view Dynamics 365 as two separate suites. On the one side is Dynamics 365 Customer Experience, and on the other side is Finance and Operations. If we look at the view here on the right hand side with sales, customer service, field service, marketing, and up to PSA, so these 5 modules all come under the banner of customer experience. And our focus today will very definitely be on the sales capability with Dynamics 365. The other side is really your finance and operations, your talent management and HR, and your retail point of sale. So those are slightly more focused on supply chain, manufacturing, finance, and HR capabilities, whereas the front 5 are all focused really on the experience of the customer of your brand and your company from the perspective of sales, service, and marketing. So if we tap down into sales, sales itself is a pretty mature area. And if you think about Salesforce automation, where you can take a lead, turn it into qualified opportunity, and then work through that opportunity in terms of the production of quotes, the generation of invoices, the integration into your finance and your back office systems, that's pretty mature now as a way of working. What Microsoft have done in the last few years is they've taken their Office 365 suite and they've taken LinkedIn in their ownership of LinkedIn, and they've taken Azure and the cognitive services that are available within Azure to be able to really deepen the insights and the ability to relationship sell. The ability to understand your customer is much stronger now with Dynamics 365 than maybe it was 2 years ago. And that's because they're fully utilizing the knowledge that they can gain from the emails back and forth from your company to your client, from everybody in the business. And also then using the cognitive services to recognize and to use machine data to be able to analyze those relationships back and forth. And then finally, from a LinkedIn perspective, to be able to look out on the market and see what other contacts and other leads you may be able to garner from within that company or other companies. So Dynamics 365 for sales, gives the seller insights and information, gives the manager sales performance information, and in the middle allows you to manage your customer much better and therefore drive sales productivity. And we're going to see that in action. This is only an overview, but we'll drill down into these in subsequent webinars. Dynamics 365, therefore, it does all the normal lead management, the management of your corporate accounts, and the management of the order taking process for those accounts, but it seamlessly integrates into Office 365 and into LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So Office 365, your contact management, your emails back and forth, the coordination of the meetings via your diary and your calendar is all done within Office 365, but that can all be exposed and available from within Dynamics 365. And it's transparent to the seller whether they are doing things in Outlook that then synchronizes back into Dynamics 365 for sales, or whether they're allowing Dynamics 365 for sales as a matter of course to generate emails that go out to the customer and go through the Exchange server. On the other side, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, your sellers should have access into LinkedIn and into LinkedIn's Sales Navigator capability. And again, because this is now owned by Microsoft, the integrations between Dynamics 365 for salespeople and LinkedIn's Sales Navigator capability is seamless. And it allows you to move between those capabilities, allowing you to see job changes, potential connections, and other things to do with companies and customers that you're working with. As a business backdrop, we're in an age of distraction. We're now in a situation where salespeople really have too many different discrete sales tools sitting there that are not necessarily all joined together, and they spend more of their time on non-selling activities. That can be up to 64%, and that's according to different surveys that are out there. That one is from Pace Productivity. The overall cost of this distraction is that selling is down by 14%. These distractions can reduce performance dramatically. There's more complexity as well. From the external side, buying decisions are taking longer. More people are involved nowadays in a purchase decision, especially with the backdrop of Brexit and what's going on with corporates at the moment. It's making it really difficult for corporates to make that big step forward. Internally within the business, you often find that there isn't a well-defined sales process, and it's more likely that works will spend more time on the different social and collaboration platforms than they ever have before. So it's a more complex internal environment, more complex external environment. So the focus should be on what's important, streamline the workflows between sellers and sales management and customers, and just start with the minimum viable requirements of what you need. In terms of being able to do that, you can use a business process to gain guidance on the optimal outcome. Dynamics 365, both across its sales and its service capabilities, has now quite a mature business process capability that you can visibly see on the application. And managers are able, through the dashboards and through Power BI, to be able to get really good insights on the performance of the salespeople and the interaction with the customer. On the other side, with regard to the flows back and forth, Dynamics 365 has a full application for Outlook and Exchange. This doesn't require any local install. It just seamlessly works out of the box and allows you to manage and tailor the communications and the visibility of those communications within Dynamics 365. On the other side, the mobility aspects, it's really critical. Mobile salespeople, they're on the road a lot of the time. They need to have full access and capability via a tablet or a phone interface. And sometimes customers, our clients will have Android devices, they'll have iOS devices, and they'll have Windows, or they'll have a combination of those three. So the application needs to work seamlessly with any of those different applications in a phone design or in a tablet design. So the last part of this, and then we'll go into a demonstration, is to understand that you can start with a minimum requirement, but then you can build over time, and this gives configurability. It's a non-code base to design the business process to suit your specific sales processes, and you don't have to have it all tailored on day one. You could start with a minimum version, then work your way out over time. And you can guarantee that the platform itself, the Dynamics 365 for Sales capability, will continue to grow and will continue to be supported by Microsoft. So what we're going to do today now is just move into a demonstration of sales capability together with LinkedIn sales relationships and mobility. This is just a high-level overview before we go into detail in subsequent webinars. So we're now in Dynamics 365, and what we can see in front of us is a sales activity social dashboard. There are a number of dashboards out of the box that are available to you, and these can be supplemented if you want to. You can build your own dashboards, and you can build your own charts that make up these dashboards. The dashboards themselves are drillable. You can go down into the various areas, and you can drill down across any of the attributes, and then you can pick the type of chart that you would want for that drill down. You can also make that chart full screen if you want to, and you can drill down and look at the underlying records that make up any of these charts and dashboards that are available to you. You can see over here that Relationship Assistant now is starting to service reminders and tell us things that we need to do as a salesman, potentially very valuable to us. And then we have an ability to go through on the left-hand side. There's a bar here that we can collapse if we want to, but that then gives us access into the accounts and contacts that we have, our leads, our opportunities, and then the collateral in terms of the ability to produce quotes orders and invoices. So if we start really from a corporate account view, and we'll pick a corporate account, we have a list of active clients. We can change that view if we want to. There's a whole bunch of different views, and you can create your own. But what we're going to do here is we're going to go into Contoso. Turn off my caps lock. And Contoso is a client that we're working with. We've only just set up that client, so you can see there's really no information available at the moment. But one of the first things that you can see is I've got a tab here to go to LinkedIn Sales Navigator function and Sales Navigator capability. And what it will now do is it will go out onto LinkedIn without me having to go to LinkedIn. It will go and get the information from LinkedIn about that particular company. So we've got potential existing connections, and I can go in and say, give me some leads within that company that I might be able to work in. And again, it gives me full access to be able to go through into Sales Navigator and look at those. And I can potentially do in-mails directly from this interface, or look at an individual member profile that's available to me. Okay. Very powerful, but fully integrated into my Dynamics 365 view of this account. Now, the other thing I can do at any time is as I start going through the sales process, if we maybe go in and start to create a lead or an opportunity for this particular account. So I'll go in and create a new lead. And we'll say, they're interested in widgets. Very simple. Save and close that. Obviously, you need to put the name in of the prospect. And now we'll open up that lead in the Dynamics 365 interface. And this will then give you your first view of the business process bar that's available for you to be able to work through. So you can see up here we've got a lead to opportunity process. It's been at the first stage for less than a minute, and this allows me now to go through and start to fill in the critical details to allow me to go through to the next stage, create a qualified opportunity, develop that, put the proposal in place, and then close that, hopefully won. Now I'm not going to go through the detail of this. That will be a subsequent webinar, but it just gives you a flavor as navigating through. It's very, very easy for me to go from an account, look at the LinkedIn details, same for a contact, and then to be able to potentially create leads and opportunities as I need to from the system. Another little flavor of the way that the systems work is if we drop into the bottom here, mobility. I have a Dynamics 365 mobile application. This is available from the App Store for iOS, for Android, and for Windows, and it allows me to be able to navigate either connected or disconnected to the same accounts and the same opportunities as I have in my Dynamics 365 environment. So you can see here is my new opportunity or lead that's available to me, and if I click into it, I have exactly the same view and exactly the same capability as I have when I'm in core Dynamics 365. The difference is I might be in a mobile environment. So for instance, if I'm on a phone, if we now shorten this down to this view, this is really what you would see, the type of view that you'd see if you're running this from within a phone. So it automatically then starts to reshape the lead so that then I can see it within a phone rather than seeing it on a tablet device. But it allows me to do exactly the same as I would be doing within my core desktop environment. So if I'm mobile, it allows me to go through and have access to exactly the same information, but this potentially could be running in a disconnected state as well as in a connected state. Okay, the last part I'm going to show you, we're going to go back up to the top here, and we're going to look at some of the AI pieces. So if I do function F11 to get my screen out, you can see that there's a sales insights. This is using AI and cognitive services to be able to start highlighting to me as a salesperson what my customers are talking about at the moment on social channels and sales calls. And this is analyzing my sales calls with the customers and using cognitive services to be able to understand the sentiment, both positive and negative, that are coming from my sales team. So very, very powerful. I can drill down into it, each of my individual sellers. So if we go into the seller details, takes a little while because it's a large number of piece of data. I can go between David, Isaiah, Jamie, Jeff Hay, etc. And I can start to drill down as to what they're like over their telephone conversations and other conversations with clients, analyze the customer sentiment, look at the call history, and even potentially start to drill down into the transcripts of that call history that's been made with the client, and start to track at which points different keywords are mentioned by the customer. That potentially is very, very valuable, and that is one of the examples of use of cognitive services sitting within Azure that you can get invisibly from the Dynamics 365 application and the sales application. The last piece that we have in here that I wanted to show you is the Power BI dashboards. So Power BI is a capability that gives you really reporting on steroids, so that you can start to drill down at a sales level, marketing and service level into your capabilities. And there are sales, service and marketing dashboards available out of the box from Microsoft, fully integrated into your Dynamics 365 sales environment. So I hope that's given you a little bit of a flavor as to the way that Dynamics 365 for sales allows you to manage your leads and your sales, your customers and your accounts, allows you to be able to use AI, LinkedIn, bring Power BI information in, and there's a whole host of capabilities now that go way beyond normal Salesforce automation within Dynamics 365. And we'll use subsequent webinars to drill down into further detail into that. If you've got any questions, please post those questions on the bottom of the screen. This was Steve Curtis, Customer Experience Lead. Thank you.